I'm surprised it took Arthur this long to do an episode about wheelchair users, but I guess better late than never. The Wheel Deal is the first episode of the 14th season, and actually it's a narrative that I wouldn't have expected, and I think it actually works quite well. The brain suffers an injury, which means that he has to spend time in a wheelchair, and he's supposed to be playing basketball, but obviously being in a wheelchair, things aren't going to go according to his plan. But he meets a girl called Lydia, who's also in a wheelchair, and she teaches him how to play basketball while in a wheelchair, and she's actually really great at it, and they get on really well. And actually I hope she's a character who features more heavily. I feel like the brain's too young for a girlfriend as such, but I feel like they would definitely get along really well going forward, and I hope they don't kind of neglect this character going forward. But it's all about the brain learning to get used to the wheelchair and also viewing the world in different ways. For example, he takes Lydia to the ice cream shop, and Lydia can't get through the door because her wheelchair won't fit. And that's obviously something the brain had never considered before, and it's giving him the chance to look at his everyday life from a different perspective, which I think is something we can all benefit from. And of course, that's kind of what it's doing for the viewer, saying things that you may take for granted, being able to go down a curb or go through a door. Somebody in a wheelchair might actually have difficulty with that. And it's about making things more accessible and adaptable. And it ultimately is a really good message. It also shows that the brain can still do things even if he's in a wheelchair. Just because somebody is in a wheelchair, it doesn't mean that they're incapable of everything. They just maybe need to adapt the way they do things. If they haven't always been in a wheelchair, then it could be a case of relearning things. As I said, I'm surprised it's taken Arthur this long to do this story, because I feel like having a character in a wheelchair is a really good way of inclusivity, and it's something that a lot of viewers could relate to, and if they can't relate to it, it's a good learning opportunity. But better late than never. I think The Wheel Deal is a pretty good episode and definitely has some important information in it.